going on? How you guys doing? I'm gonna do some shooting here in a little bit, but it's raining. So I gotta wait for it to quit raining. Wasn't supposed to rain today, but it's raining. So as soon as it's done raining, I'm gonna go post some targets and I'll end this live. But until then, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you're interested in firearms, this is the place to be. If you're not interested in firearms, maybe you should be. Learning how to shoot, learning how to safely use firearms for any reason, self-defense, enjoyment, recreation, survival, hunting. Them are all good things to learn. So, here we are on a Tuesday. What time is it? 11:30. Nice Tuesday afternoon. 68 degrees and raining. A beautiful time of year. Mid-spring. This is paradise, man. Doesn't get any better than this, does it? But y'all, if you're watching, man, double tap that screen for me. Throw some likes on this short or this live. That stuff really helps out. Feel free to join the chat. Or you can listen to me ramble, or whatever it is you want to do. So on lives, we're not allowed to handle firearms. I'm pretty sure we are allowed to load magazines. So my son and I have a rifle match in a couple weeks. Actually next weekend, not this coming weekend, the one after. So guns are all clean, barrels are clean, actions are clean. Everything's looby-doobied up. So I will confirm zeros today. I brought my precision rifle with me to do some accuracy and load testing. So we got 11 of you, man. I mean, one of you's got to be solid. Don't tap that screen, man. Double tap that screen if you believe in freedom, God, love, and country. Double tap that screen if you believe the government works for us, not the other way around. And all forms of government have become corrupt. And sometimes a good hard reset's needed. say that because I'm really disappointed in what our Republicans did yesterday. Our elected officials that ran on pro Second Amendment, and then they went to shit on us for their own political gain, which I guess at this point, none of us should be really surprised that they do that, right? It's amazing how quick somebody can tell everyone what they want to hear and what they need to hear and what people actually want. And then the minute they get into that office, they do a complete 180 without hesitation, without a second guess or any remorse. And then think that it should be acceptable by society. And it's not, man. It's kind of fucked up, right? So I'll ask y'all again, man. Double tap that screen for me. My plan for today, you guys just jumped in, so I came to the range, and it's raining at the moment, but I still have some testing to do. So we're gonna get a little range time in here in a minute. I'll show you what I'm working with. So it's my heavy barrel precision rifle. It's my little shorty up there. This is my 3-gun rifle. Pretty sexy stuff. This is my backup rifle. This goes to 2-gun and 3-gun matches with me just in case my main gun goes down. This is my son's rifle that he's going to use. I built that for him years ago. And then this is my Daniel Defense. I haven't really found a purpose for this yet, but I enjoy shooting the rifle. It's a nice rifle. So this is our range: 25, 50, 100, and then all the way out there, you can see the orange all the way back. That's 200. Depending on how long it takes to quit raining, we'll shoot over here, zero the heavy barrel in at 200, and then I'll probably go shoot some 600 yards. That's on the other side of the range. As long as it quits raining, I can shoot over there. There's a pavilion like there is here, but not a sponsor. So, not a sponsor. I'm at the range, man. But we're gonna get some shooting in for next weekend. So not this weekend, but the following weekend we have that rifle match. So, did you see the rifles I showed? If not, I'll show them to you again. Wasn't supposed to rain today, but it started to rain on the way out here, and it's not going to rain long, half hour maybe, 40 minutes. So, yeah, they're all pretty nice. I mean, it's all stuff I built. So, my heavy barrel is my oldest rifle. I built that back in like 2005. Nice gun. I'll show you a little better detail. I don't know if you've ever seen it in great detail. But that was a prototype stock. Leupold Veriflux 3. I'll take the sunshade off. I don't need it today. Usually out here for 600 yards, we shoot into the sun, so I have a sunshade on it. And that's a Clark Customs. That was a prototype carbon fiber handguard. I'll back it out a little here. A Shiloh barrel. That compensator I machined. I made that in school. That's my little shorty. I need to put a stock on it. I just haven't found one I want. I want another kind of like the brace, the PDW style. So it's got its paperwork done on it. I just have to put that on. It's got an adjustable gas block. I tuned the gas down too. It was really overgassed last time I had it out. So I had to pull the gun apart because the adjustment screw was kind of locked up. So I had to soak it and then pull it in. This is my 3-gun rifle, JP Enterprises brake, carbon fiber forearm. The Hyperfire trigger, Seekins short throw safety, the Troy Ambi mag release, which I never use. I always forget it's there, and primary arms, 1 to 8, with a Veltor stock and a whole grip. That's my primary gun. And the Daniel Defense with the ward on it, the Leupold hammer. And this is my backup gun, A stock, whole grip, aim point with a Vortex magnifier, Troy Industries handguards, VG6 brake, and then my oldest son, this is his rifle. It started life as just a 1520 or a 1522 as a M&P 15. It's got a Hyperfire trigger in it, Blackhawk stock. I don't recall the forearm. It's got a Fat Man brake on it. That thing's so stupid fucking loud. And then Vortex optic. So that's what I got going on. So as soon as it quits raining, I think I'm gonna zero. This is the range the match is at, and we're not using this rifle side for it. So the furthest our shots are going to be, and if they get creative, they might get 75 yards for rifle. But everything's probably going to be within 50 yards. So I think we're going to do a 25-yard zero, which will equate to a 100-yard zero. If you're on at 25, you're on at 100 with an AR-15 in 5.56. So we'll zero them at 25, the couple comp rifles we have. And then I'll shoot some 100-yard groups with them. But right now they all have a 200-yard zero. My gun, so it's like a horseshoe. It's an AC, what is it, ACSS reticle. So it's got like a big horseshoe and then I forget what it's called, the triangle in there. And then you got your hash marks. So I can actually do a 25-yard zero while I have a 200-yard. Rather than put it on the triangle, I put the 25 on top, or the bottom of the horseshoe, and that works out. But that triangle pops pretty bright when you got the optic on, so I'll probably just do a 25 on it. But I got some ammunition that I loaded to test. So this stuff is all long range ammo. It's 68 grain Hornady Bowtail hollow point match. So that's what I've been using for 600 yards. I had a couple different loads of that worked up. I got some Varget and some H335 progressive powder charges. So laddering them up. I have ladder scaling them up. I forgot my chronograph. I forgot my tripod. So, but these loads have been tested before. I just didn't test them for accuracy. It was a couple months ago. We just came out and ran them over the chronograph to make sure the load was safe. But yeah, that's what I got going on. What do you got going on today? You working from home? So you guys that are in here, man, feel free to join the chat. I have just an old, is it a Caldwell? Ammo's is a little newer than mine. So his works good if you're setting it on a cart. Mine's got a tripod that comes up, has the arms, the sunshade. So that works for me. It was still a couple $100. I don't have that Garmin or the Lab Radar. I look at them and they're okay, but the price doesn't warrant the extra usability. It's not really any more usable than what I have. It's easier to set up, especially like that the Garmin one. Got one customer to stop in on. Strongsville, Ohio, just south of Cleveland. That'll be your day then, or what? You just got to drive home. So I use the chrono the most for my pistol for doing major. We confirm our power factors to stay legal when we shoot USPSA. There's minimum muzzle velocities or projectile velocities that you have to meet. The small level 1 matches, they don't chrono it, but when you go to the big matches, they do. So try to stay compliant. And with my gun, my checkmate, you want to be right in that high side, right in that envelope or the razor's edge, because you want as much gas as you can get without blowing up your gun. So you really need to have a chronograph. You got some administration work to at home. It's got to be pretty nice though to be able to stay home and work, right? I got the rest of this week off yet. And I got to go back to work for a couple weeks. Then I have another week off at the 4th of July. And then I have from 4th of July until October, like another 3 or 4 weeks worth of vacation to burn. So I get almost, well, I shouldn't say almost, I get 3 months. Great, whole reason I switched from being a service tech to sales, yeah. I get 3 months, 12 weeks at work. And then I get the week of the 4th of July paid. It's paid vacation. And then the week of Christmas is paid vacation. So we really get 14 weeks of vacation. But 20 years at a government job, it kind of should get that, right? So you get paid commission on your sales. Worst thing is our vacation starts, it's government, right? So government fiscal year is October 1st. So I wish it were like most calendar years, it's January, salary and commission. There you go. Make some good money then if you're a good salesman. So the vacation starts over in October. That's the start of the government fiscal year. And it's nice, but man, getting time in October, especially if you hunt. When I used to hunt, I burnt a lot of time up there in November and December. But then it's hard to sit on it till spring when you want to actually be out doing stuff, especially when you're like, oh man, the weather's shitty, or, you know, got all this snow and I got to try to clean it up before or after work. Burn vacations, but I have most of it this year. I burnt up, I think, maybe 5 or 6 days from October until, I don't know, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, whatever it was. But, so we got 20 of you guys here, man. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to double tap that screen. It's all right if you want to just be a peeper and check stuff out, but sitting in the shadows there, it's only really weird for one of us. You know, you're not going to see some weird shit here. You're not going to see somebody eating octopus or talking to dolls. We could talk to some ammunition. Let's talk to some ammunition. Hey there, buddy. What's your name? Mine is, let's poke some holes in some shit. There, that's about as weird as it's going to get for y'all. But, yeah, it's clearing up. Probably another 10 minutes. Man, what a beautiful time of year. I can only imagine Ohio's, I mean, you guys are real similar to how we are in Wisconsin. Just absolutely gorgeous time of year. It's my favorite time of year. You know, not only do you get out, do shit, you know, enjoy the weather. It's not so goddamn hot and humid that it's miserable yet. But to get out and, you know, ride motorcycles, the weather's decent. The air is thick, so they make, you know, motorcycles and stuff make good power. Yeah. Overcast, everything's green. Yeah, everything's green here, man. It's fucking gorgeous. I'll show you. Now, it's that early spring, you know. bugs aren't really out yet. I think in my car, when I left town, my car said 67, and then on the way out here when it started to sprinkle, it said 63. It's obviously overcast right now, but the sun's gonna poke through. I'm pretty sure of that. So, but best time of year, man. I think that's when I used to hunt. I really liked to turkey hunt, and if you got lucky, you got it in the right time when the toms were still chasing hens, and everything was starting to turn green and the bugs weren't out. Man, I know people go to church and they got to talk to God, right? But you get out in nice woods on a beautiful day, and God talks to you. You just have to listen. So, but it's nice to get out here during the week like this. It's a private key club, so if you guys don't know what a private key club is for a range, it's Ammo. How are you doing? It's you belong to the club, and it's technically open to the public, but it's a members only club. So the people that are come out here, they're members of the club. You unlock gates to come in, unlock gates to leave. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's a beautiful day. We're gonna do some shooting here as soon as it quits raining. Show you what we're working with. Yeah, church isn't meant for God. Outside, opening your heart, that's where God's at. No God that's telling you to respect everything is going to tell you to go sit in a building and worship. I'm going to run that. That's my long range rifle. It's my 3-gun rifle. My little SBR. I got to get that stock put on there now. I got my paperwork back and everything. And I brought the Daniel because I want to play with it a little bit. That's my backup rifle for 3-gun. And then that's my oldest son's rifle. It's our range. 25, 50, 100, 200 way back there. And then I can't really see it. You see the buildings back there, way on the other side where you kind of see the tree line way back there. From there all the way up to there is 600 yards. So we'll probably go play, once I re-zero the rifle, we'll go play with some stuff. But we got some 68 grain Hornady Boattail Hollow Point match to play with. That's what I'm gonna shoot through the heavy barrel. I'm gonna put some through my Stag too. But then I'm gonna zero a couple guns we're gonna use next weekend. We're gonna zero to 55 grain. So the match should be within 50 yards max. I mean, if they stretch out the bays, they can get 75 out of one. So I'll do a 2,500 yard zero. And because that's all the further I'm going to shoot, I'm going to cheap bullets, not expensive bullets. So we'll change and confirm zeros. And on my shorty, I got to turn the gas down. It's way over gassed. At some point, the gas adjustment screw backed out. And the last few times I shot it, it was pretty gnarly. Man, you have a good day, not a sponsor. Maybe I'll catch you later. So I said as soon as it's done raining here, I'm gonna shoot and get back to town. I might do a live. The more YouTube tries to censor me, the more I try to be on it. I don't know how else to kind of fight back. You try to argue with them or appeal their stuff or anything else, and they stand on it, man. Anything to screw a guy over. Which is funny. It's funny that a company that size, the size of Google, goes out of their way to screw people over. I mean, big corporate at its finest. Big corporate with political goals. It's funny, you guys, 19 of you here, you guys see YouTube, you see people shooting firearms. How many of these guys are out there doing stuff the wrong way? Shooting illegal firearms, shit with switches or full auto. Shooting at the ground, shooting in the air, shooting in the city, shooting out of cars, shooting on roads. That's the type of stuff YouTube promotes. You get some fat middle-aged white guy that's married and believes in God, and you get them out doing stuff the right way, eye protection, ear protection, on a range, safe backstops, skilled shooter, and they don't show that, man. It's fucked up, isn't it? It's all political too. But Ammo, what's big with you today if you're still here? What do you got going on? It's funny when you come out to the shoot off a bench, the 20 round magazines are where it's at. I don't need luck, man. People make their own luck. Nothing ever goes right. Things always go bad. Accept it. Accept that something didn't work. And don't dwell on it. Move on. The quicker a person accepts failure on something and then reformulates a plan and moves on, that turns into success. People make their own luck and they make their own success. With the exception, right? With the exception of, oh God, I hope the DNA test comes back and it's not mine. Or I really want to win this lottery. Yeah, 20 rounders are perfect because, obviously put them on a rest or whatever else, they fit perfect. 10 rounders are fine. But I prefer just to use a 20 on the bench. Honestly, too, like when I bring my kids shooting, more times than not, I make them use 20 round magazines. Just to slow them down a little. But I only have, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 20 rounders. And I got a couple 10s, but not very many. I think I got 1 5 for the lead sled. I've never used a lead sled. Yeah, I like the 20 rounders. The thing with that too is when you're shooting, there's force being put up on the bolt, right? Your magazine is always pushing up onto the bottom of the bolt. And most rifles you're not going to notice it, but like in my precision rifle here, you can tell shifts in groups depending on what magazine you have, because it's putting more or less force on a gun. So generally, I want as much force on that bolt carrier as I can when I'm zeroing stuff, or as consistent for as long as I can. That's the other reason I like 20 rounders. And again, my 3-gun rifle, my shorty, all this shit over here, you won't see any shift in that at all. And you're not talking like going from a 1-inch group to a 1/4-inch group, but consistently you'll see a small shift, and it's small, and it doesn't matter at 200 yards, but at 600 yards it does matter. So and even 600 yards isn't really that far. So Ammo must have bailed already. He does that. He'll come in, say well, and then he'll dip out before you even really get a conversation. That's all right. I like Ammo. I give him enough shit. But I don't know if you're even still on here. Are you able to do your lives again? I don't think I've seen you do any lives. I saw you posting some content. But so 26 of you, man. liking the video, subscribing is free. It costs you no money, man. Unless I'm offensive to you or you feel disrespected, show me a little support. Nobody on YouTube is doing it to get rich. Well, some people are. I'm just sharing with you. I'm choosing to share my time with total strangers to maybe just share a sport or a hobby. Maybe you guys are at work right now and wish you were sitting here with me, right? Or on your own range. Or maybe you're some gay trans liberal that just coming yourself, not being able to believe that somebody's out here with rifles and they're gonna shoot them, which that's fine too. Everybody has their own thing. Me personally, I'm not into it, but you know, I used to like to hunt. I enjoyed hunting, and as my kids got older and I started working more, when I was younger, we hunted. It was a good way to feed my family. You know, I could go out and shoot 2, 3, 4 deer in a year, and that would feed my whole family for a year, right? My mom, when she was still alive, she had a farm, and my father-in-law, he has a big farm. So now we just buy beef. My mom would give us beef for Christmas. My father-in-law will buy usually a half a cow from him, and he usually gives everybody a quarter cow for Christmas. So I don't have the time to go sit in the woods anymore. There's times I like it, but my mom passed away. That was one place I hunted, and then I had a big land lease, and we leased that for like, I don't know, 10 years. And the gentleman that had that was ready to retire and move to Alaska. So he sold the property. He sold it to some Amish who, you know, it's prime hunting land. And of course they want to support their families too, right? So they hunt, they go hunting on it. So we lost them 2 land leases. And then I had a really good spot to go turkey hunting. It was on public land, but it was some work. It was an hour drive, and you would hike in. It was about an hour and a half to hike back to where I found all these birds. And man, it was easy to get turkeys out there. But getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, driving an hour, hour and a half, then hiking in. So you're in there trying to get in there before light and not, shake these birds out of the trees. It's kind of got hard. Turkey hunting's 4 days. You can pull extra tags and permits, but I don't know, I just kind of fell out of it. I miss it sometimes, but I do a lot of recreational shooting. I do a lot of competition shooting. I spend a lot of time with my kids at the gun range. They all shoot competition too, so keeps them from getting into trouble. Keeps them focused. That's a really cool day to go out with your kids. My oldest is 24, about to be 25 next month. My middle son's 15 and my daughter's 11. But you get 3 kids out shooting, and they're shooting competition. The shit talking is just absolutely incredible to sit back and watch. Especially my daughter. She's the youngest, and man, she's got a mouth on her like a sailor. And I got to remind her sometimes, Harley, you're only 11. You can't tell people to go suck their own dick, I had to have that talk with her last weekend because her brother was picking on her. And I guess I wasn't there, but my wife said she got furiously mad. Said she was bright red and just shaking. And she looked at him and told him, "Why don't you go find your dick and suck it?" Holy fuck, little girl. Oh, little girl. Now, to one end of you as a father, right? You got to try to be a positive guy and be like, hey, that's not appropriate for either one of you. Harley, you can't be saying stuff, blah, 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 blah. But then the other side of you being a dad is like, all right, man, my little girl, she's standing up to somebody that's running their mouth and putting them in their place. So one end of you has to, hey, blah, 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 you can't say stuff like that. That's not appropriate for a kid to say, blah, blah, blah. But on the other side, it's like, Harley, I'm glad you stood up for yourself. I'm glad that you had the courage even though you knew you were going to get in trouble, that you had the courage to tell somebody to go fuck off, right? And my son is sitting there laughing, giggling, thinking it was all funny because I'm scolding her. And then he got the world of it, because it's, how dare you push her that far, that she's that upset that she's saying stuff to you like that. You pushed it too far. As a young man, because he's 15, as a young man, you need to know to shut the fuck up. You can't sit there and talk all that trash to a girl and make her that upset. And then I had to remind him, I said, you're 15, she's 11. What are you going to do when you're 30 and she's in her 20s and some guy's talking to her like that? And he told me, well, I wouldn't like it. I had to remind him. So you're talking to her like that, you're being disrespectful to your sister, and at some point along the line, she's going to have to accept that it's okay for men to talk to her like that. And he's like, no. I said, well, but that's what you're teaching her. Fathers with their daughters, they should always try to treat their daughter like they want their daughters to be treated. My sons, I'm hard on them, man. I'm a dad. I'm a man. I want my sons to be men, So I'm straight arrow with them, So that's, I expect them to treat people like they want to be treated. But if somebody, I always tell my kids, right, if somebody's picking on you in school, they're only picking on you because they want a reaction. And I've always told my kids, if somebody's wanting a reaction out of you, if they're picking on you and they want a reaction, they can't take the, hey, just knock it off shit, then you owe them, you absolutely, as a person that holds yourself with some value and some morals and ethics, you owe that person a reaction. Now, the thing that most people don't realize is you're in control of your reaction, right? You get to choose how you react to somebody. If somebody's sitting behind you poking you, well, they're expecting you to, stop, or I'm telling, right? No, not in my household. If somebody wants to poke and prod and pick and tease, then give them the reaction. Hit them square in their mouth. And when they say, why'd you do that? Say, oh, you had a chance. You wanted a reaction. I gave you a reaction. My wife, she's pretty straight and narrow. She doesn't agree with that. But I'll tell you what, all three of our kids over the years, they all heard me tell them that. And my wife saying, he's not wrong. Sometimes you do need to hit somebody in their mouth to give them a life lesson. And it's a problem with society today, man. Little kids don't get hit in the mouth anymore when they pick on people or talk a bunch of stupid shit. Everybody coddles them and says it's okay. And the person that they're bullying, they get told they're wrong to be upset by it. You guys, if you're older, when we were kids, man, I'll tell you what, I had teachers leave the room, We had teachers leave the room knowing somebody was about to get their ass kicked, no doubt. Sometimes kids need that. Them kids grow up now. These are the kids that grow up and they're Karens. They have a sense of entitlement. They have a sense that they can treat people like dog shit and think that that's okay and it's acceptable. It's not. These are the kids that grow up that can't handle constructive criticism because they never learned how to be a solid person, how to stand on their own, how to treat others like they want to be treated, right? So that's my message. So this is the stuff you're going to hear when you leave me to my own devices. So we still got 15, man. We only got 2 likes on this. Throw some likes on it. If you don't want to throw some likes on there, jump in the chat. Tell me if you agree or disagree. I get told I'm wrong frequently. When I grew up in school, my mom and my dad both, they were not big on bullying. We, and my grandma too, she was real strict, old school strict. Ma'am, may I please? And then ask what you're doing. Mom, please may I, thank you, that type of shit. Stand there, be seen and not heard. You have something to say, you stand there next to your parents or your grandparents or uncles or whoever, you stand there and wait to be addressed. That's how I grew up. But my parents, I mean, if somebody bullied you and you came home upset about it, and well, what did you do about it? Well, I told the teacher. I get slapped upside the head. And it's the same thing that I tell my kids. If somebody wants to bully and pick and prod, then you're obligated to stand up. That's when kids learn how to be who they are. Everybody in life has to learn their limits, right? I'm not going to let somebody treat me poorly. I'm not going to let people talk poorly to me. I'm going to stand up. That doesn't mean later in life you're getting in fights. That just means you learned your limits. You learned how to love who you are, how to be the person you want to be, and also accept the fact that being treated poorly is not okay by anybody. And with that, you're not going to treat other people poorly. So, but yeah, my daughter being able to stand up and have a voice, that's something that girls and women have a hard time doing. So to some extent, we all know them women that have big mouths and just run off and blah, 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 blah. And we know the women that are they're strong. They're a strong-souled person that demand respect and carry themselves like that. They're the women that people don't disrespect and talk down to because they're solid, Just like a man, their word is their word. So that's how I raise my daughter. It's how I raise my kids too. It's hard raising kids in today's society. You love to fish? Right on. What kind of fish do you go fishing for? I live in Wisconsin, so Wisconsin, the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan, is about 50 miles to the east of me. So out there you can catch, all the trout, all the stuff. I mean, everything, the browns, the trouts, all the small bait fish, whatever. And then Lake Winnebago, which is one of the biggest lakes in America, other than the Great Lakes, but it's a shallow lake. It's a phenomenal walleye lake. It's a world destination for walleye fishing. So you used to dumpster dive in Green Bay? Really? So you're not far from me, man. So, like I said, I just told you about where I am. So I'm in Ripon today. This is the range I'm at. So if you know where Green Bay is, you probably know where Ripon is. If you guys never heard of Ripon, it used to be famous for Ripon Good cookies. They don't make them here anymore. But yeah, still raining. I got company, so I got to move some shit. So you can sit here. I'm gonna let you go.